everyone, welcome back to another episode on Monday Positivity. Today we are going to talk about a very important topic. I think it's important topic. Long ago, I created an episode on Value Compass, and today I'm going to talk to you about 5 daily habits to align with your value compass. Because habits shape us, the way we conduct ourselves in daily life, it shapes us. So today I'm going to tell you what are those 5 daily habits that can help you align with your value compass. Because I know in life many of us feel stuck, like we are making decisions that don't truly reflect who we are, and the reason could be anything. The situation could be anything. Maybe you're in a job that doesn't fulfill you. Maybe you're trying to maintain relationships that don't align with you, and you don't feel aligned with these people or their choices. Or it could be, you're chasing maybe certain goals that leave you empty. And if this sounds familiar, it's time for you to check your value compass. Your core values are your internal GPS. They guide you toward a life that feels right for you. But values don't just shape big decisions, they show up in the small habits you practice daily. And in this episode, I'm going to share 5 powerful daily habits that will help you align your actions with your values so you can live with more clarity, purpose, and authenticity. Let's get started. Now, first of all, let's try to understand why your daily habits shape your life. We often think values are something we reflect on once and then forget about. So if we are talking to someone, we usually ask, okay, what are your goals in life? What are your values? And we feel like, okay, we talked about it, now we can forget about it. But your values should guide your daily actions. They should not just guide your major decisions in life, right? Because how you do small things is how you'll do big things. How you conduct in one area of your life is how you'll conduct in another area of your life. And if your values are not reflected in your everyday life, you will always feel, that disconnect. You will always feel disconnected, unfulfilled, and even frustrated sometimes. And studies in psychology show that people who live according to their core values experience high level of satisfaction in life. They experience lower stress levels, better decision making skills. For example, if you say you value health, but you don't prioritize exercise, eating healthy, meal planning, sleep, you'll feel out of alignment because that's your deep value, but you are not taking actions that align with your value. And similarly, if you value, let's say, connection, but rarely reach out to loved ones, your relationships may feel empty, right? So, how do we ensure that our daily actions reflect our values? Well, by building small, intentional habits. Let's get into the 5 daily habits that will keep you aligned with your value compass. So, the first habit I think that really works well for me is morning reflection, setting intentions for the day. And I think the way you start your day sets the tone for everything else. Instead of rushing into tasks, take a moment to check in with yourself. Ask yourself, what are my core values? And how can I honor my values today? For example, if one of your core values is growth, and you might decide to, read for 10 minutes for personal development or for personal growth, or maybe, take an online course today. If your value is service, you could plan one act of kindness, like helping a coworker or supporting a friend or anything, right? And this reflection actually helps you stay aligned with your values. You can come up with a to do list, you can come up with actions you can take throughout the day to stay aligned with that value. And one of the things that has really worked for me, and I'm sure it will work for you as well, is keeping a journal, right? Keep a journal. It can be a physical notebook or it can be a notes app. It can be, a digital journal. And try to write one sentence each morning about how you will align with your values today. Even a 5-minute morning reflection can set a powerful intention for your day. Another technique, uh, another habit is to align your decisions with your values. Now, throughout the day, ask yourself, does this action align with my values? Too often we make decisions based on social pressure, convenience, or an old habit rather than what's truly important to us. For example, when I started my sugar detox, every time I'll want to have ice cream or anything sweet, I would ask myself, does this align with my values? Does this align with my values I have for my health? Right? If let's say freedom is a core value, right? It's your core value, and you keep saying yes to commitments that overwhelm you, that don't really make you feel free, you're moving in the wrong direction. If let's say creativity is important for you, but you're spending all your time on your routine tasks, you're not honoring that value. And for this habit, I would say, like for the earlier habit, I suggested having a journal, writing in a journal. For this habit, I would say keep your core values visible. Write them on a sticky note, maybe have a phone wallpaper, or maybe even a notebook. And before making any decision, take a deep breath and do a quick value check. Does this bring me closer to or further away from the life I want? Okay. Third habit is daily self check. You know, daily self check is important to understand any misalignment you may have, because usually when we live on autopilot, sometimes we are misaligned, right? So it's very important to reflect and perform these check ins. And what you can do every day, at the end of the day, at the end of each day, reflect on how well you honored your values. Ask yourself, did my actions today reflect who I want to be? What felt aligned and what did not feel aligned? These two questions can actually give you a lot to think about, right? For example, if you value connections, if you value family, did you spend quality time with a loved one today? Or maybe did you spend quality time with loved ones today? If you're not able to spend time with them, did you call them, right? If, let's say, you value learning, did you engage with new knowledge today? Did you learn something new today? And this habit will help you course correct before small misalignments become big problems. And for this one, I would say you can keep a simple daily log with two columns or maybe many columns, whatever works for you. And you can give it a tick mark. What aligned with my values today. If you want to create a list of your values, okay, I took an action that aligned with this value, that value, you can give it like a check. And you can put a cross if you did not do some, if you did something that did not align with your values, right? Or you can also create, like I told you, two columns with a check where you will write, what aligned with your values and cross what did not align with your values. And over time, patterns will emerge. And understanding these patterns will help you make better choices. All right. And fourth habit, I would say, is very important. And I know it comes up a lot in my episodes. It's about setting boundaries, setting boundaries that protect your values. Living by your values means saying no to things that don't serve you. And without boundaries, your time and energy uh, get pulled in directions that don't align with your priorities. For example, if you value mental peace, set boundaries around negativity, limit toxic conversations or social media doom scrolling. If you value health, protect your workout time and don't let others guilt you out of it. It's something that I've seen among many people, right? And for this, my advice would be practice saying no. in a respectful but firm way. Start small, maybe start saying no in little situations, uh, and then it will be, it will be second nature, right? It will be natural for you to say no easily, right? And again, no doesn't have to sound rude. It can be said in a respectful manner. For example, if somebody invites you and um, it's your workout time, you can just say, I appreciate the invite, but I need some time for myself, or I need some quiet time, or anything like that. Or if somebody invites you for a party, but you want to instead learn something new, you can always say that doesn't align with my priorities right now, so I'll have to pass, right? And boundaries actually help you protect your energy and stay true to your values. And the last step, I would say, last habit is to take one bold step daily. Every day, take one small action that brings you closer to a value driven life. For example, if you value adventure, book a new experience. I'm not saying do it every day, but do it maybe once a week or once a month, even if it's just trying a new cafe. If you value financial independence, start researching passive income ideas. Small steps add up and create momentum. And for this one, I would say, again, every morning write down one bold step you'll take today, no matter how small. Consistency is key. Tiny daily actions will transform your life over time. Again, going back to my sugar detox journey, I remember when I started very small. I reduced my, because I was usually having, sugar in my tea only. So I decided not to order anything like extra sweet from outside, like chocolates or ice cream, and just have sugar in my tea. So I used to have tea twice a day. And I decided to have sugar in that only, like, in my tea. And after some time, I decided to have just one cup of tea a day, and my sugar was limited to that cup of tea. And after some time, I decided not to have tea at all because that was the main source of sugar for me, right? So start small, tiny daily actions, and they will transform your life over time. And there is this, aligning with your values gives you it gives you energy, right? It is very powerful. When your daily habits reflect your values, life becomes effortless and fulfilling. You will feel, less stressed and more confident and more in control of your path. Every choice becomes simpler. If something aligns with your values, it's a yes. If it doesn't, it's a no. Life becomes very simple when you start aligning with your values. When you start aligning with your value compass, you stop living on autopilot and start living with intention. And small daily changes, lead to a completely different life. And now that you know 5 daily habits to align with your value compass, which one will you start practicing today? If you are comfortable, let me know in the comments below. And if you found this helpful, don't forget to share it with someone who can benefit from this episode. And do check out my other episodes on self growth and personal alignment. I hope to see you in your next episode, in the next episode. Till then, take care